Okay, hi Stuti. Thanks a lot for coming on board. For everyone out there, Stuti represents Filatex. Filatex has been one of our very early customers, and they have been very strong supporter for GoComet. Thanks a lot for Stuti for coming on the call. I'll just have some basic questions regarding GoComet and how your journey has been with GoComet. What was the problem statement which prompted you to start off with GoComet?
So actually, when I joined Filatex, we were doing a lot of import and exports. Imports were lesser, but we were doing a lot of exports, and our exports had really picked up in the last 2-3 years at that time. This was 2019. And the problem we were facing was all our quotations, if I had to talk to 10 forwarders, we were sending out 10 emails. If I had to talk to 20 forwarders, we were sending out 20 emails, which had the exact same content. Then we would get those quotations, and there was someone who would create an Excel sheet, make a comparison for every shipment, and then we would negotiate with them, which would entail more emails and calls, and eventually we would decide on a rate. Now this would be fine if we were doing it on a contract basis, where it was for 2 months or 3 months, but this was being done at a spot at a spot shipment process. So as the scale increased, this was no longer possible. And I think that was the problem, because when we started exports, we were exporting maybe 10 containers or 20 containers in a month. So this was very feasible at that point of time. It didn't matter. But when you start doing 300 containers a month, this process does not make sense. So, there were like 4 people doing this, who were just managing our logistics. And even once you finalize it, the other problem was once we got the bills, we always had to figure out, okay, what were the rates we had actually agreed on, find that final email. Yeah, finding that final email, because it's a chain of like some 30 emails at that point.
I understand, yeah.
So it was not a very efficient process. So we just very passively started looking out that, okay, is there something better? But we weren't very actively looking at it. And then I think somewhere down the line, we met GoComet.
We approached you.
Yeah, exactly. So GoComet came to us, I think, and they said, this is something we've built, and it somehow just clicked exactly what we were looking for. I think some of the features were things we didn't even think we needed, but I think they've helped. Now it's been 2.5 years.
And how do you think the product has affected Filatex business over the last couple of years? What are the key takeaways from that?
The biggest is time saving. Which just the amount of manpower required to negotiate and close a shipment, and even after that tracking it and ensuring that the invoicing and everything is done. So right from where we look for a quotation all the way to the shipment coming into the port and the final invoice payment, which closes the shipment, the entire process was very cumbersome and it required a lot of manpower initially. I think that's where GoComet has really been help to us, where just the number of people required to manage these shipments has definitely, I would say, in terms of hours, decreased by 50%, if not more, for a lot of my shipments. So I think for us, it's always been the biggest thing. I know initially, we talked a lot about negotiating and how GoComet would help us get the best rates. And I think that has happened in instances. But, at the end of the day, you still have to call people sometimes to tell them that, come on, give us better rates, or we can do better. But I think what GoComet did over there was they added more transparency to that process. So now when I told, or, one of our employees told forwarder that, we are getting better rates, they could see it on the platform that they were actually on the 3rd or 4th position, and we were not just, making it up. Okay. Because when you're just saying it, at the end of the day, I can say any rate. If I say, I'm getting it for $200,
right,
and they are giving it for $250, there's no credibility. But I think that also helped with the platform, that they could genuinely see that, okay, they're on the 3rd or 4th position. So we're not making this up. We are actually getting better rates. So that, I think, increased the speed of negotiation a little for us as well.
Any key product features that you specifically like? I think you already took some of that into context, but anything around that?
All in all, just the comparison, where I can look at all the quotations we get from our forwarders. Personally, for me, that is the screen I look at the most as a manager. I know, obviously, My team looks at everything from scratch, but when I open GoComet, for me, that is the screen which is the most important, because it gives me one of the problems we face when we get quotations from forwarders otherwise is that they'll all put the things in different heads. One will call it a THC, one might call it some other head, and then it becomes really complicated. But what GoComet does for me, which really makes life easier, at least for me, is that because forwarders can only put things up in a certain head, everything is very comparable. And that's very important, right? I don't want to have to calculate that, okay, this is this much better, but this much is different. So this. Now I get, okay, this is my ocean rate, this is my destination rate, and I don't care whether they are putting more THC or less DO charges or any of those things. For me, that screen is the most helpful, definitely. We also end up using the tracking sheet a lot. So the tracking feature, that is something we have started using a lot more. I think post-COVID, that became even more because there are a lot more delays. There's a lot more transshipments which are happening. There's a lot more rollovers. So getting real-time data has become a lot more important now. So the notifications we get when a shipment gets delayed or it misses its transshipment or gets rolled over, I think it's become a lot more important post-COVID. That was not something we used a lot pre-COVID because when it's at 28 days, it generally arrived in plus minus 2 days. Now that's not the case always. So I think tracking has become a lot more important now.
Would you like to recommend GoComet to any of your fellow conglomerates, and why would that be the case?
So I have actually, mentioned it to a lot of my network who I know does imports and exports. And I think it's for the same reason, right? Like it just makes it a lot more efficient and it makes it all in one place. Because I think most people do imports and exports the way we did, which is via emails and Excel sheets. And it's not, I love Excel, so I'm not against Excel sheets in general. But the problem here is it's just the sheer amount of effort that takes to capture all that data. And I mean, personally, just the fact that a forwarder can put something on a form and it shows up on my screen in a comparison, format is very important. And I think that's why I would recommend it, because the kind of time they would save would be immense.
Okay, thanks Stuti for being a strong supporter, and we are super excited to keep on working with you. Thank you.
No, even honestly, like GoComet has been very helpful in terms of even customizations for us. Personally, I've not even looked at any other software for this because of that, because of the kind of support we've gotten from the team. So.
Thank you so much. We'll keep on doing that. Yeah.